Hello, fellow model makers. I like to drill a lot of holes. You can make that a joke if you want. But I drill holes in models. So, general purpose hand drill. Now, I've reviewed these things before, and they're quite nice. And they were, I'd still use them, but you'll notice they're kind of long. I wear a size XL motorcycle glove. And this fit falls in fine, but look how much further the tip is away. So when you're drilling stuff, it's a little more difficult when your hand is that far away from the object. So this one spins nicely as well, yeah, but same thing, right? My fingers are really far away from the object. So I ran into these online, of course, and they're Dspiae, I think. Yeah, here's a search term. You know what, I'll leave a link if you want to help out the channel. But it actually comes with bits and stuff as well. So typical Dspiae packaging is pretty nice, actually. I think it's nice enough to give away as a gift. So it doesn't come with a full spread of drill bits, but it's nice that it comes with 5. I don't know, hold on, I gotta see the packaging. Well, the seller covered up the back end of this, but it does say 0.5, 0.81, 1.5, and 2 millimeters. Those seem like logical breakdowns, but I guess on the listing they'll probably say what actual size bits it comes with. Alright, so anyways, it's got the standard kind of machine bits here, and these things slide in and out. You could add 5 more, there's extra holes here. Alright, so going in order and stuff like that. And I find these really small ones, they're very easy to break. This one will be a little harder to break, but these first two, this one in particular, breaks very easily. And by the way, the bits are marked, so you don't have to go by visuals. It's actually easier to read in this white plastic, it looks like, versus just here, because it's so shiny, the text is there, but once you put in this cloudy plastic, it's actually easier to read in my opinion. And again, when you have this really long thing, any sort of slight movement, there's a chance you're going to break such a thin drill bit. So that's why this is going to become my pilot hole kind of thing. Yeah, alright. So, nice little bag and stuff. It's inexpensive because it's plastic. There's no ball bearing here, but this black thing is spinning, as you can see. And so it does. What's also nice is it has this cover, which the other ones don't. So if you have a really fine bit, you can hopefully not break it because it's going to be covered up. Whereas these, I never leave a fine bit in it because I put these into a tin, actually. Look at what I do. I just have a stainless steel cup. This is like probably a 0.8, so this one won't break, but this is a normal drill bit. These machine ones are very brittle, but they're also very sharp, so that's an advantage and a disadvantage at the same time. So anyways, I leave all the big ones in like this, but I want to have these little ones, obviously, for starting pilot holes. So I'm going to take the very smallest one. I think it was 0.5, right? And so unscrewing it, typical lefty loosey, righty tighty, and then it's a standard, I think, 3 millimeter chuck. This is actually some sort of metal. Also, as I was setting up the photo, there's a magnet in there, so that helps, land the bit in there. You'll notice the magnet is actually trapped a little bit by this ledge, so it can't come out with the bit. That's actually smart design. Yeah, you see it just rolled to that other object. I don't think these are actually magnetic. These metal pieces are just die-cast alloy. So it's only the bit it's attracted to. Or something else. Actually, there's something down in there maybe. Oh, you know what? It's the other magnet inside that one. Yeah, duh. Oh, no, but yeah, you'll see the bit is ferrous of some nature. That's why it's so brittle, I think, but also so sharp. But you probably don't want to screw it too tight because you might strip the threads, maybe, being plastic. Be careful with this really small bit. Okay, and you'll see it bottoms out. But still, you have the functioning part of the bit. Alright, so now be careful. This actually, if you do bottom something out, I guess you'll just stop there. I was thinking maybe that metal could scratch up your model, but I guess it can't because the bit's going to stop where this thing starts to become a cone. Alright, so again, I think the advantage, besides the price, is that bit, no matter where I throw it, it's not going to break, right? Okay, let's get a model to start a hole on. So I have these little 3D printed flight stands for my tiny deformed cartoon airplanes. This one will come up later. This is an AFE Club Rocraft FCK1 thing. And it doesn't have a hole for a flight stand. So I'm going to put one. You'll notice there's none in the center, but this is only like a 2.5mm rod, so I think I could just put it right here maybe. Actually right next to the landing gear. It should be fine. So I'm going to just pop this here. I'm basically going to start a pilot hole. Actually, I probably want it more centered so it doesn't get knocked over so easily. Okay, now, well, actually you'll see. Look where my fingers are compared to before. So when I do this, my fingers are very close, and I feel like I have more control with such a short thing. That's also a joke in the making right there. So again, these are very sharp or very effective bits. Alright, so that's that one. Now because they are so inexpensive, I went and bought 4 more, and I have every other bit in here already. And so if you go up incrementally, you know, look how tiny that hole is, right? So before I used to take a needle and heat it up to start a pilot so the drill bit won't wander. But that's such a small drill bit, I don't think it's going to wander. And now I'm basically just, you know, making it bigger. Now you'll see with these bits, it's actually sucking in and it won't come out. So you actually have to pull on it a little bit to strip it out. And that's why you have to do it in incremental sizes. Because if you go from the small one to a giant one, it's going to really tear into that plastic and not leave a clean hole. So that's already through. Yeah, it's just basically sheared off the plastic. This is a big jump. Okay, but still. Okay. Now, obviously you could jam in a really big bit, but I'm not going to throw these things away, so I'm still going to use these things. Because with such a big bit, and already having a pilot hole now. But yeah, you see, it's kind of, I have to shear that plastic away. I don't think that's the right size yet. Nope, I think it's the silver one. You could actually just drill bit down into it, and then it'll, you know, it'll shear it off anyways because the flutes end, right? So once the flutes ends, it should shear off the plastic. Alright, so I gotta just scrape off that little plastic bit. Alright, take my flight stand. Oh, nice, perfect fit. Okay, so there it is. You saw it in action. Obviously, it'd be more time consuming if you only buy one of them. But, you know, I guess it's time versus money. I guess I'm just lazy. Who we kidding? I'm lazy. I'm willing to buy these extra ones. But they're only a few dollars. So, all in all, I think it's a great product. You know, it comes with a decent jumping of the bits from really small to see that progression. We maybe put them next to each other so it's a little more obvious, the progression. I think it's this one. Yeah. So these are nice and easy, progressions, but it's kind of a big jump here to here. That's why there's spaces in the middle. If you buy the whole 10 set from Dspiae, it'll be 10 times more. It'll be a lot longer, but the progressive jumps won't be as bad when you're trying to pull the bit out. Or again, you can just drill down into that point. But that landing gear on my model was getting in the way. That's why I didn't do it until I had the long version. Okay, not much else to talk about. Pretty simple product, but I like it. Again, let me just hold this one here. Look at where our fingers are, right? I have so much control because I can literally do this if I wanted to, right? But when I have this long one, which I still like, don't get me wrong, but it's a lot more difficult, I think, to control. If you're going to try to do an angle, I think you'd want to be as close to as possible instead of something like that and it wanders off or something like that. And definitely do not try to angle this. The really thin ones, they'll just break. I've broken so many of these little ones. Once you start getting up to this, maybe you can start slowly angling it. And then once you get to 3 millimeters, yeah, that's a strong bit. Okay, well, thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you the next time we do a model tool review.